Hey, are you moving to Kansas City and you're considering making Platte City your home? Well, before you do, make sure you watch this whole video because we're going to share the top 6 things you absolutely need to know before you even consider moving to Platte City, Missouri. Hey, if this is your first time to our channel and you absolutely want to know everything there is about eating, working, sleeping, and playing in Kansas City, go ahead, hit that button and ring that bell. That way you're notified every time one of these videos comes out. Honestly, we get calls every week from people wanting to move to the Kansas City area. So if you're also thinking about moving to northwestern Missouri or the Kansas City metropolitan area, go ahead, give us a call, an email, a text, whatever works for you. Just know that we're here to help, and we've got your back. Well, hey, if you're considering moving to Platte City, we're going to go over the top 6 things you absolutely need to know. But let me tell you a little bit about Platte City to begin with. Platte City is a city located in the northwest corner of the Kansas City metropolitan area. It's just north of the Kansas City airport, so super convenient for a lot of reasons there. Highway access is a big deal. You got I-29, takes you right into downtown or all the way up to St. Joe. 92 goes across the entire northern part of the Northland and also runs into Leavenworth. We'll get into that and why that's important. But you should know about the town. It's really great for somebody who's wanting to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life in the city. And this kind of gives a little bit more of a small town vibe with quick access to the big city. So let's break into it. Number 6, the Platte County Fair. The Platte County Fair is the largest fair west of the Mississippi. So think of demolition derbies, mud runs, concerts, DJs, parties, food trucks, there's a carnival. It's a big event that goes on for about a week in July. Then there's different events, like there's a demo derby that just happened again here in October. So the fairgrounds are used throughout the year, but the biggest event is going to be generally in July every summer. All right, the number 5 thing that you absolutely must know before you move to Platte City is Platte City has a great school district. It's one of those school districts where the locals, that's their destination. They want to move there to be part of that school district. So when we look at some of the school districts that are closer to the 435 loop, that are a little closer into the city, you're going to find a lot larger high schools where it might be 25 to 30 students per teacher, whereas at Platte City, it's going to be, or Platte County schools rather, it's going to be about 17 to 1. So there's less students in the classrooms, a little more one-on-one. And if your kids are really into playing sports, it's a lot easier to make the team. So when you get into like schools like Liberty North, Staley, Park Hill South, those types of schools on the Northland, it's a lot more competition to be on the varsity football team, whereas you have a lot more opportunity in these smaller schools that are just another 10 minutes north and outside of the city. All right, the number 4 thing that you have to know before you move to Platte City is that Platte City's location is very important to why it's so popular. To the north, you're going to have St. Joe, which is right at 30 minutes. So it's very common for somebody to live in Platte City where one of the spouses maybe works in St. Joe and one of the spouses works in Kansas City, or if it's a split family, you know, it's a great place right in between. It's also incredibly common that if you are either based at Fort Leavenworth, as an officer there at Fort Leavenworth, a lot of the officers there, they live in Platte City and they're part of the school district they want to be a part of. Leavenworth also has a ton of prisons, so it's not uncommon to be a prison guard or work in the prison system or something related to it and also live in Platte City. The reason is Leavenworth's kind of an isolated city. There's not a whole lot of easy access to Leavenworth directly to Kansas City. It's going to be through either Lansing or through Platte City generally. So it's easy to live in Platte City and you're only 14 minutes away from Zona Rosa and that entire shopping district. And you're only about 25 minutes away from the downtown Kansas City area. Makes a perfect in-between spot for a lot of people to choose to live. And you really see why it's an ideal location for somebody that is living and working in one of those areas. All right, the number 3 thing that you absolutely have to know about Platte City before you decide to go move there is that a big part of Platte City now is a big truck stop. So you have I-29, I-49, 71. It's the same highway named 3 different ways. This is the northwesternmost part of the city. So if you're coming into town, this is where you get gas. If you're leaving town, it's where you get gas. So there's going to be a lot of exchange of travelers right there at that intersection of 92 Highway and I-49. There's a big truck stop, a Quick Trip. And then around that's going to be a lot of fast foods, CVS, Walgreens, that type of stuff where you can hop right in, get back on the road. So you're not going to find a whole lot of sit-down restaurants. You got Tanner's, which is going to be a sit-down restaurant and a bar. It's a little bit on the south side of that area. And then you're going to have there's a Mexican restaurant on the north side. If you go further into the old downtown, you're going to find more of a sit-down restaurant experience. So you kind of got to know that. There's some benefits and there's some drawbacks. I like it. I grew up right down the road there on the Smithville side of Platte City, and we always ran there to do all of our quick shopping. So everything's really there. One big benefit there is if you need shopping that's over and above what Platte City offers, you're only 14 minutes to Zona Rosa. So it's not a very far drive at all. You get that little bit of country living, lots of shopping choices, yet you're only 15 minutes away from what everybody else has in the city, which is a lot of amenities and choices. All right, the number 2 thing that you absolutely have to know about moving to Platte City before you pack your bags and move there is there's a bunch of development coming that way. So Platte City is located on the north side of the airport. Kansas City's on the south side. The airport's sandwiched right in between. Development really has to go east or north in order for there to be a space to even do anything, right? So west of Platte City, there's kind of a ravine. It drops off towards the river. There's not a whole lot of development down in that low-lying area. So you're really gonna see Platte City stay on top of the hill and develop out east. You're already seeing new subdivisions on the east side of I-49, which haven't really been there before. And we're going to see a lot of commercial development that's already begun in the truck stop area of Platte City. You'll notice there's a brand new Cosentino's Price Chopper. It pretty much put out all the other grocery stores in the area because it's so large, nice, new, and modern. There's CVS, Walgreens, and all those other types of shopping destinations that you would want in a suburban area. But Platte City really provides a lot of that small town feel, but a lot of the amenities that we're accustomed to when we live in the larger part of the city. So expect those amenities to grow and still expect that small town culture to stay alive. Okay, the number 1 thing that you absolutely have to know about Platte City before you pack your bags and you move all the way here is that in Platte City, you get a whole lot of house for the money. So houses in the last year have sold anywhere from between $155,000 all the way to $2.2 million, but the median falls at $340,000. Let me show you what you can get for your money. In this first neighborhood, this is going to be a neighborhood called River Run. Houses here, they're gonna run in the $220,000 to maybe $330,000 range, with most of them being around $290,000. All right, one of my favorite subdivisions in Platte City is gonna be Lakes at Oakmont. Lakes at Oakmont's on the south side of Platte City, and you're gonna find here, larger than average lots, and they're gonna go all the way up to 3, 4, 5 acres. Now, the subdivision has a lot of trees. It's not really wooded. There's some areas that are more wooded than others, but it's very much tree-filled, but still manicured. So it's like that perfect park setting. You're gonna see, especially in the fall, lots of pretty colors, and it's a very cool subdivision to drive through. Now, at the bottom of these rolling hills are blue lakes. I've told you before, I'm a fisherman, so I'm obviously a sucker for blue water. When you're down here on these lakes, you're gonna see there's walking trails that run around them. There's always neighbors that are walking dogs and back and forth, kids fishing in the pond, or big kids like me fishing in the pond if they're lucky enough to live there. All right, when it comes to home prices in Lakes of Oakmont, you can expect to spend between $390,000 and $740,000 for a house. Average home price is going to be just north of $500,000. Since there's a lot of custom builds in this subdivision, there's quite a wide range of prices. One caveat you have to keep in mind: if you love this subdivision and you see a house that you absolutely love, do not wait to write on it, because if you don't get it, there probably won't be another one just like it until that one resells again. All right, we wouldn't do you any favors talking about homes in Platte City if we didn't bring up Seven Bridges. Seven Bridges is one of the premier subdivisions in the entire Kansas City area. The homes are large, they're beautiful, and they're well built, but we should really talk about their community center. They've got one of the best community centers that I've seen anywhere in the city. It's a lot like the subdivisions you might find in Orlando, where you own a vacation rental property and you want to go down and do all the resort stuff. This has all that right here in Kansas City. They've got a full indoor basketball court, an outdoor basketball court, a huge pool with splash areas and all the mushroom cap things, tennis courts, just lots and lots of stuff, and a big reception area. So you'll find a lot of people that are are involved in their work or in their kids' activities. They'll also host the receptions, and they'll host all those activities at their community center. There's always something going on there, and I really can't think of a better subdivision in the Northland if you're looking for that resort life experience. Okay, prices at Seven Bridges are going to be a little bit higher than Lakes at Oakmont. So we're going to be looking at $375,000 to about $740,000. The average sales price being just under $600,000. So keep in mind the houses are a little bit newer. Lakes at Oakmont might be 15 to 30 years old. These are going to be, brand new all the way to about 20 years old. And you can really see those phases change as you move from the north to the south, where there's 20-year-old homes on the north end and brand new homes on the south end. And that's going to really explain a lot of that price difference. We mentioned earlier there's a lot of development coming on the east side of I-49. Let's hop over to Windmill Creek. This is a subdivision that's recently been developed, and you can currently buy brand new construction here for between $475,000 and about $520,000. A lot of people are choosing to live on this side of Platte City because it creates great opportunity to get on the highway without having to travel down through town or out the south into town to 435. So this is probably the easiest access in the whole city. Plus you just cross the bridge and you're right there for all the shopping. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of great reasons to call Platte City home. We're here to make that transition from where you're at to where you're gonna be that much smoother. So go ahead and reach out, give us a call, text, email, and just know if you're moving to Kansas City, Platte City, or the greater Kansas City region, we're here and we've got your back.